What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for it is going to be a real test. By the time this one goes up, it might be 24 hours late. It might even be her having another live stream. But we start off the normal hello, digging on our eye, vaping, saying hello to everyone. They start to get her talking about eating KFC. She says that was filmed today, but it wasn't sponsored. She has Starbucks. She was going to go outside, but she didn't. It was too busy. She then basically says, she has nothing going on. She complains about food, particularly the quality of the Fredo chocolate that she had for Salah, but then ate and then left him the wrapper. I mean, 9 minutes in, she's yawning. Her and Salah are just going to do the quote normal things. She starts to talk about how bored she is with her life and how they might leave for the summer and just not sure of where they're going to go. She complains about how hot it gets in Kuwait and how the heat is too much for her, that she would rather be cold than hot. Less than 15 minutes in, she wants food. She's talking about making a BOT. This is followed by this dream she had about getting a taxi in Thailand. She complains about her eyes. Really, much of this stream, the lack of chocolate flavor in the drink. She talks about the cost of the drink against her financial goals. And she says, she just needs to prioritize treats and she can't continue to get these $8 coffees. She said, thankfully, though, someone did pay for her to get a jar of pickles. And the chat kind of talks to her, these treats need to become, once a month, not once every day. They ask her about Tippy's podcast, the one he claims can make them all millionaires, $30,000 a month. And I mean, I wish I was joking, but those are the actual numbers he provided. She said she's probably not going to do it, but rather do one of her own because she wants control. She doesn't want to work for someone. And she says that this way things could be fun, they could be themed. And she goes on to talk about how she could maybe have guests on the podcast and have a small do it yourself business. I reiterate to you, this is a person that could not send out postcards from places they were visiting. She says now she's afraid of cats. She doesn't want to pet them when she goes out. She said there's a lot of food left, so she doesn't want to continue to feed them. It's just all going to be from a distance. And they tell her she should also be fearful of the camels as well, but she laughs this off. And this transitions into the rabies shot. But it doesn't seem to me like she's followed up properly. She kind of elaborates on that later because she wants to talk about planning her live stream. She wants to have subjects, not, the same old boring stuff. We'll see if that actually happens today. She said she doesn't feel like going out. She doesn't have this interesting life. And honestly, that contradicts much of what she normally says when she talks about reaction channels. And she says, when she plans them out, maybe one night she could react back, one night she could do true crime, maybe funny videos, and she could have guests on or cooking. All of these things, if you're not aware, she attempted with the Beezer show. And she just lacked the ability. She had a whole Foodie Beauty shorts channel where she could not make a short video each day. Of course, though, she wants to watch Tippy and Friends later, so she's going to need to get off it. Tippy and Friends are going to educate her how to make money on the platform. I love this concept. The people who make the least on the platform in this community are telling everyone else how they can be successful. And then when they're asked why they aren't successful, they say it's because they don't want to be successful. They have all the tools, they have everything they need to be successful. They just don't want to be successful. She complains about the coffee giving her heartburn, how she just wants to go lay and watch movies, that people analyzing her life makes her feel like a queen, and she doesn't watch any of it. It's strange to me that people stream all hours of the day with her content, but she has problems unless those people agree with her. If you don't agree with her, you're just making hate content. You have one brain cell. You're a zombie. And then she goes on to say, she doesn't care about any of it because she just wants to relax. And she says when she thinks about it, she would rather have a bunch of people hate and love her than people not know who she is. And then she starts to talk about how social media is great, how she can make all this money, and then immediately goes into talking about taco dip. It's amazing how she can't stay on subjects without switching over to food. She talks about how Salah doesn't like dip, how she was craving KFC, how she wants to make fajitas. We know she makes barbecue chicken and rice now. And then, of course, she goes on to reactors. How we believe we're immune from criticism. Let me just sidebar here. No one thinks that, at least speaking for myself. The reality is there's this push and pull in the community where Chantal willfully puts her life online. And she knows people are going to react to it. She does and says things that she knows will get a response. Others feel like because reaction channels speak about that they can go into their personal lives and share that. And then claim it's acceptable because it's, quote, what we do to Chantal. I've had so many people lie about me, it's laughable. I've been told I don't have a car, I don't have a license, I lost my license, I never worked in racing. When you respond to people's lies with proof, like here's pictures of me pitting a race car, here's images of a podcast that I hosted. No one ever comes out and says, oh, I lied about that person, I was wrong. What they do is they have a response that is irrational to a different context. Where, for example, now it's my videos are in 720p. I'm a credit card scammer. Keep in mind, calling someone a credit card scammer is actually a crime. You're committing a crime lying about someone committing a crime. That is the hypocrisy for me. Let me explain the 720p because this blows my mind. People who claim to know all and understand all. Chantal's live streams are in 720p. So unless you're downloading her entire live stream and you're upscaling it so that you would minimize it and play it, there's no reason to upload a video outside of the native format in which the video was recorded. So do you really think that when you take someone's 720 video and run your stream in 2K or 4K or 1080p, that you're changing the quality of the original video? No. No, you're not. You're just wasting your time. But that's the lack of common sense we deal with, as well as this mindset that all of us spend hours and hours and hours. Look, my last recap was up 30 minutes after her video was uploaded. So how are you going to tell me it's my full day when I'm proving to you, and I know people hate facts in this community, but I'm literally proving to you that it is impossible for that video to have taken me longer than, what, 25 minutes? Chantal, of course, transitions into bacon and grilled cheese. She doesn't know the video game still has playing. She jokes about grifting for a vacation. And then she says, you know what, she's just going to own the grifting. She goes on about her poor sleep patterns, the cravings, including the beaver tail dessert she would eat in Canada, how she wants to go to Farm Boy, she wants to travel coast to coast and call a show Foods of Canada. Salah wants to go to Egypt. She goes back to the rabies shots and says she's not going to talk about them, that she got the initial shot and that she's not going for the follow-up. And honestly, this doesn't make a lot of sense because rabies shots are usually done in a series. So I don't know why a doctor there would administer the first one and then say, well, don't worry about coming back for any of the others. You don't need them. You would technically need those boosters. The only way I could think this wouldn't happen would have been if they would have got the cat that bit her, took it, had them quarantine the cat, see if it did have rabies, and then go from there. But none of that happened. None of that happened. The chat goes on to complain about ads in her stream, and she says, you know, she needs to be paid. And then she starts talking about bleaching her chub rub, trying hot sauce, picking at her eye. Goes over other food-based channels she follows and how she regrets not trying more foods when she travels. Salah comes in to play Crazy Frog. She has to turn the camera around. After 90 minutes, she's laying down. And let me just say, when she lays down, her breathing is very labored. She's sitting there hand dancing, laughing about how her and Julia lay the same way when Salah plays. She then gets worried about how she's going to get up from the couch. Salah needs to take a break after playing because his fingers hurt. She wants to make this huge goal for when she turns 50, so Salah starts playing Happy Birthday. She has to use the bathroom and get offline. She really closes this out by showing she has real issues getting up off the sofa. And that's just about it. I mean, that's 2 hours in less than 10 minutes. And it doesn't speak to the quality of her content. It speaks to it all being repetitive and the same. She constantly comes online, talks about changing, but then never does, whether it's her diet or whether it's her content. I'm going to leave you, though, with the top comments from that aforementioned video. You know I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm sure Chantal will be back online, if not already, very soon. And hopefully I can get that covered for you as well. With that said, you know I will be back as soon as I can with more commentary.